So today, watch fans, we're going to be looking at some tips that can help you get a watch from authorised dealers. Now, a couple of things you've got to remember before you even go into an authorised dealer. So the authorised dealer doesn't have a say on what watches they're going to get given. Rolex decides what watches they're going to be sending the authorised dealers, and they don't know what is coming to that store before it arrives. Also with Rolex, the demand far outweighs the supply. There's a lot more people wanting these watches than Rolex are producing. Now don't get me wrong, they produce a lot of watches, but the amount of people that want them is a lot higher than the supply. Now the other thing you've got to remember is an authorised dealer is taking a risk when they sell to you, especially if they haven't got a relationship with you or they don't know who you are. If it's your first time buying a Rolex or first time going into an authorised dealer, they don't know who you are. Now they could be selling you a watch that goes at a premium on the grey market. So basically they will be giving you free money. They're taking a risk that you're not a flipper. Don't forget, Rolex keep tabs on grey market watches. They're on the lookout for people reselling, especially new models. If you've got a 2023 model and you sell it onto the grey market, there's a very good chance that Rolex is going to pick this up because they have a team looking at this. If they do find that, the authorised dealers could get repercussions for selling you the watch, especially if it's a watch that's linked back to them. Also, you've got to remember, the more expensive the watch you want, the more the risk. It is basically them giving you free money. They are now taking that risk in you not to sell the watch on. So let's say that you're not a flipper now and you're going into the authorised dealers to buy your dream Rolex watch. You're a first time buyer. Now what you've got to remember is the odds are stacked against you. You are guilty until proven innocent in the eyes of them, whether you are a flipper or not. They're assuming that you're going in there to try and buy a watch to flip it. You've got to convince them that you're not, basically. I know that's not a great thing to hear, but it is the truth, and that is what is happening. So here's a few little tips that might help. Now, if somebody's going to sell you a watch at a premium that is basically printing free money for you if you did sell it on, number one thing, they've got to like you. For them to now decide that you're the person they want to sell that watch to, they've got to like you. So the best thing to do is go in there, be nice, polite, personable, have a little bit of small talk, try and strike up a bit of a relationship with them. You don't want to go in there and just start talking business and look as though the only thing you're going in there to do is buy a watch, even though it is the only thing that you're going in there to try and do. Makes no sense, but it's definitely going to help. Number two, dress smart. The brand is all about image. It's all about the allure of what Rolex creates. Wealth. It creates the image of power, success. If you're going in there as if you've just come to the gym or you've just walked out to the gym, they're not even going to look at you twice. You probably won't even get put on a waiting list. Now, I'm not saying go in there in a three-piece suit, but dress smart. Wear a nice pair of shoes, wear nice trousers, wear a nice shirt or a nice polo shirt at least. Do not go in there looking as if you are dressed in rags. Number three, they need to know that you have the money to buy a Rolex. They need to know that you have a good, secure job. Now, let them know this. They're going to ask what your job is, what you do. Now, you can embellish a little bit on your life, your job, what you do in that job, but they have got to believe that you earn enough money to purchase that watch, if not more than one as time goes on. Number four, have a model in mind. When you're going in there, you want to know what model you are going to purchase. If you're going in there and just say, show me a few models, show me a Rolex, let me have a look at a couple, you don't look as if you're very decisive. If you're going in there just happy to buy any Rolex, then that's going to create red flags, because somebody who's potentially going to flip a Rolex and is just looking for it to sell on isn't worried about the watch that they are going to have. Now, if you are going in there and you're spending £8,000 or more on a watch that you really want, you would probably have in mind which watch it is. So make sure you go in there knowing the exact watch you want, whether that's dial colour, what type of bezel you would like, what type of bracelet you would like. Make sure you know. Now, other thing is the type of model that you're going to be asking for. If you're going in there asking for high-end models, like I said before, the higher the model, the more the risk. So go in there and ask for something like a Datejust, especially if it's your first time. A Datejust is a modest Rolex that they are happy to sell on most occasions. You might not get it there and then, but a lot of people after a Datejust will eventually get a Datejust. If I went in there asking for a GMT Master 2 or a Daytona, there'd be no chance if it's my first appointment. Now, number 5, I know this sounds silly, but make sure they know you're not a flipper. Let them know your knowledge of Rolex. Let them know that you want this watch for an achievement, to show success in something. Let them know that you might want to pass it down to your kids in the future. Let them know that this watch is important to you. It signifies something. It's something that you want to keep for generations. It's not just a whimsical buy that you're just purchasing because you want a Rolex. They got to know that you believe in that brand and that you want that watch. And that is one of the most important things that's going to belong to you for a very long time. They have to know this. Now, there's a few extra things that can help, but it might cost you a little bit of money. So I'm going to include them, but you don't have to do these because it will cost you money. But if you want to go the extra mile, there's nothing stopping you, and this might help. Number 1 is wear a Rolex to the meeting. Now, if you already own a Rolex and you're wearing it, then they know that number 1, you have money. They know number 2, that you have bought a Rolex watch and you haven't flipped it and sold it on. It also gives them confidence that you're already being okayed by the brand to purchase a Rolex. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be your Rolex. It could be somebody else's. It could be one that you've bought off the grey market. Hopefully they won't ask too many questions about it, but let them see it. Number 2 now that you could also do is turn up in a flashy car. If you pull up outside in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a high-end Mercedes or BMW, any model you want, a car that is worth a lot of money is going to signify to them that you have the money, you are wealthy, you are doing well, you have a successful job. Like I said, it's all about image and creating this image to the ADs and to the brand that you are worthy of this watch. Another thing you can do now is build up a spend with the ADs. Now, if you're going in there, maybe say that you're looking for a his and hers watch, like a lady Datejust and a Datejust for you. You could also purchase some jewellery after your meeting for your partner. You could purchase something for yourself, but you have to have a spend with them. They've got to see that you're willing to spend money for them to offer you that watch. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but this is just the way it is. Now, the most important thing that you can't be doing when you go into the ADs is lying to them. Do not start telling them you're something you're not. Don't tell them you're a doctor when you are not. Don't tell them you're a lawyer when you're not. Don't turn around and tell them you have a high-end job when you don't have a high-end job. And by this I mean they're going to look you up. They're going to search your social media. Unless your social media is squeaky clean and there's no access to it and there's nothing about you online, then embellish all you want. But do not lie if it's easily found out. If I go in there now and I start telling them that I am a lawyer, and then they look at my LinkedIn and it shows that I'm a fitness instructor or martial arts instructor, then I've got no hope, because why are they going to believe me when I tell them I'm not going to flip the watch? So be honest, but sometimes embellish. But most of all, be polite, be kind, be courteous. They're human beings at the end of the day. You are trying to get them to like you. If you're likable, there's more chance that they're going to trust you. If they trust you, they're more likely going to sell you a watch that's worth a lot of money. And they're going to believe in you as somebody that will buy the watch, not flip it, wear it and enjoy it. And most of all, that's what they're trying to do, protect the brand. And they're trying to protect their business. I am going to do a video on what happens and how Rolex find out about flipping, but for today that's just some tips now that might help you at the ADs if you can go there and try and purchase your first watch. Thank you. Please like and subscribe to the channel.